Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the NFA Review Channel. My name is Adam Johnson. Today we're going to be reviewing the Flip Fury Nerf handgun. It has dual rotating cylinders, so there's a lot of reload time. It's very, very quick here. Very easy, quite compact. What are you doing? I'm reviewing the gun. I'm Adam Johnson.
I'm Adam Johnson.
I'm Adam Johnson.
I'm the original Adam Johnson.
Well, we can debate on that later.
Let's debate on that.
Let's debate on that.
Alright, so this would be a lot easier if I had a lectern to put this microphone on.
Yeah, they didn't let me keep it.
Yeah, but we have it set up on a Nerf gun, so hopefully the audio is good, guys. So what is going on? Why are we here with a bunch of Nerf guns behind me right now? So I want to kind of welcome Adam Johnson to the channel here. He is infamous, as you already know, for relocating Pelosi's lectern, as I like to call it. So Adam actually did a radio show with Mike Calta here in the Tampa Bay area, and I actually heard him on the way to work one morning, and I was like, oh shit, I should reach out to him. It's kind of funny. We had the same name. I have my own thoughts on the January 6th insurrection, and I asked him to come here on the channel and actually give him the floor to explain exactly what happened leading up to it, and what happened there, what was the atmosphere like, not what the media tells us, and then the fallout. So I told him we're going to pretty much let this run for a while. It's going to be a pretty long video, and I think we're going to save the fallout and all the bad stuff that happened to him, and we're going to do a part 2. So this would be part 1 of a 2-video series on everything that went down. So I'll give you the floor. And why don't you just give my subscribers a little background on who you are and not what the media says you are.
Well, first of all, thanks for checking us out and listening to maybe a different side of the story that's not been talked about yet. My name's Adam Johnson, as you've heard. I heard that you also had some stuff happen afterwards. They maybe assumed it was you.
Yes.
It was the hair, right? It's the
hair. I had to cut all my hair off.
Yeah. In my darkest moment, I actually thought about cutting it off. I thought, I got to get rid of it,
Nah, you can't change who you are.
I kept it. The wife would be so angry. So my name's Adam Johnson again. I'm a husband, married for almost 12 years now. I have 5 sons from 15 to 6 years old. I am a stay-at-home father, breaking the traditional gender narrative roles, and just trying to do my best part I can in the world.
Okay, very good. So you are not a extreme Antifa leader member?
No. There were a lot of people that were suggesting that that actually was Antifa. That comes from a picture from the night before. And I guess we can just start there.
Yeah, let's start there.
So the night before, we had just shown up in D.C., a good friend of mine. And
no, hold on, let's back up.
Okay.
Why did you want to go to the rally?
Okay.
We should start there, and then we can kind of just build up,
Sure, okay. We wanted to go to the rally because it was an end of an era. Right. We had a president, I think one of the first populist presidents since JFK, that really had, I think, the idea and a dream of an America that most people wanted. They wanted to be able to afford their groceries, see upward mobility in their careers. They wanted to see their children have that same opportunity.
Earn
as
what
well.
you keep.
Yes, yep. Exactly. And so I think...
Or keep what you earn.
Keep what you earn. Yeah, earn what you keep. Yeah.
Yeah.
We started with
We just started. Yeah. So it's going to get worse.
So my friend and I were talking. I'm not a super political person, or I wasn't.
Neither am I.
For the first...
This is actually, I think, the first political thing I've had on here. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Go through my videos. That's pretty much it.
I appreciate you talking with me.
Oh no, you needed some airtime for sure.
I appreciate it. We COVID hit a couple of years ago. I think we're still doing that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that over yet? Is COVID done now?
I don't know. I saw some guy with a mask in his car at Walmart by himself, and
I saw one before you came here today. I had to go run some errands, and I saw that lone person driving alone with the mask on in their car. So
I'm worried they're not going to be okay. They'll never recover.
Send help.
Yeah. So COVID hit. We lost movies. We lost sports. We lost all other forms of entertainment. So what we were stuck with was politics.
Right.
And it was driven everywhere you looked. It
Sure.
was COVID this, COVID that. And so I
that was
started
your
listening.
turning point.
I started listening. I did. And, I didn't vote for Trump in 2016 because I've never voted before. The first time I voted was in 2020.
Okay, wow.
I've always had that idea. There's no way they would give us the ability to actually put someone in power that we like.
You know my thoughts on the election.
Yep. Well, yeah, definitely stolen in 2016. Yeah. Hillary definitely won that one. You can say that on YouTube.
God, my subscribers are gonna kill me.
So,
he's kidding.
I am kidding. That is a joke. So, I started listening, and I got really confused why everything was pushing against a grain that everyone was happy with.
Right.
I didn't see war. And again, having 5 young sons, looking at what's going on globally right now,
the future,
having no wars for 4 years.
It's funny you mentioned that, and I want to kind of touch base on that. That nobody I talked to was voting for Biden. Everybody was pro-Trump. They were happy with him bringing all the jobs in the United States. He was going after all the car manufacturers, and he was going to tax them out the a-hole if they continue to manufacture cars outside the United States. He was doing everything in his power to operate the United States as it is, and it is a business. And he's a businessman.
You have to incentivize them to come back here and work, and you don't do that by raising corporate taxes.
Right. So when everybody, like you said, when it you heard, oh well, no, I didn't talk to anybody who wasn't happy at all.
No.
So it was so whack with what happened with these, and they blatantly stole it. I'll go ahead. I mean, they just didn't even care.
So this is not going on YouTube.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's get back on topic here. Let's kind of fast forward to like traveling to DC.
Okay. So I'm an impetuous type of guy. Okay. If I decide I want to do something, I'm doing it. And my wife, God, love that woman so much. She lets me go on trips occasionally.
I just met her. She's a very positive person.
She's a very positive person. She does everything right in life and encourages me to do more right things. She's perfect. She lets me go on trips occasionally. If I want to go see my brother in Texas or something. Though. I'm definitely on a very short leash.
You're like...
Yeah. I've got 2 probation officers actually. I've got that one and her. So, but yeah.
I was actually. Oh, you have 2?
Yeah.
I didn't get the joke.
Yeah. So she let me go to DC. She's like, you know what? If you feel like you need to be there, you wanna go see what's going on. You wanna protest. That's.
You were going there to peacefully protest.
Yep. Which is a right that I do still exercise and still have. Yes.
Okay.
So we bought plane tickets, and to get there, the plane tickets itself were so difficult to find. It took us 3 different legs to get there. So we flew into we flew into Carolina, into Boston, and then finally into DC out of Tampa.
Why is that? Do you think so many people are going there, or they're just making it difficult?
I think a lot of people were going there.
It was just overloading the system.
Yes,
of
absolutely.
Routes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. So the flights were fun. We're still living in the age where you wear a mask on airplanes.
Right, because this was 21.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. This was the beginning of 21. Yeah. So it was like wear a mask or go kill yourself.
Pretty much. That's how we lived. Yeah. And so I won't talk too long on that subject. I have my opinions on them, which are now being backed by scientific papers. But
So we have the same opinion.
We have the same opinion.
Not just the same.
Yeah. Trust the science.
Yeah. So the plane was quite fun.
It was a lot of fun. So coming out of Tampa, there was you could tell like there was some people who
was on the Trump train kind of.
Exactly. There was 1 or 2 MAGA hats. And we met this one older lady. She probably was like 75, 80 years old. Had this little Trump MAGA brooch pin on her. She started talking. I met Trump. He gave me this pin. And
see, like I wouldn't call myself a Trumper. I like the man for his business.
Yep.
The fact that he is the lesser of 2 evils. He has done some stupid things with firearms that I didn't like.
Sure.
So I wouldn't say I'm like a Trumper and I go out there to like all kinds of stuff.
Bump stock bans.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. That was extremely ignorant. I understand that he's very busy and he has panels of people that tell him what to do. I understand that.
Advisors, whole cabinets.
Yes, sure. I understand that, and they have to look at voting polls and stuff, but that was a Second Amendment no-go.
Yeah. He should have just banned the ATF just completely.
Yeah, that'd be great. That's the start.
Yeah.
That's probably the most overreaching arm of... God, My new neighbor's an ATF agent.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, trust me, I made so many jokes when he moved. He's actually a really cool guy. He's not compliance.
Sure.
But
yeah. I
don't know if he'll ever see this.
I found typically it's the agency, not the agent.
Yeah.
In my experience with them, most people are humans, and they're not trying to.
I have a lot of friends in law enforcement. I really don't know how they do that job. I work in the fire service, and then I see them just get shit on constantly, and I'm like, God, why do you sign up for that?
I tell my Leo friends every single time, I don't want your job because you meet people on their worst day of their lives.
Yeah.
You know, either they're going to jail or someone they love is going to jail.
So your mindset when you got there, we can kind of discuss how long it took to get there, was not violence. It was to protect the police. And you mentioned that earlier off camera. Another
huge reason why I showed up there is because I am a big supporter of Back the Blue. It is a movement that I've always believed in because these people are risking their lives on a daily basis to make sure you can shop in Walmart.
Sure.
You know?
Right.
So that was another huge reason.
Or Target.
Or Target. Who shops at Walmart? Who shops at Walmart? Yeah.
So you get off the plane, and how did you get, did you go, to a hotel? Did you go, or did you just go straight there?
Well, first of all, we didn't think we were going to land in D.C. because there were so many people refusing to wear masks. They were threatening to land our plane.
No way.
Yeah, they were threatening to land our plane on the way up there. Mid-flight.
So did you guys all right, guys, put them on so we can make it? Did that happen?
Well, there's that running gag on the planes where if you're actively eating food,
I gotcha.
You don't have to wear one. So a bunch of people just had lollipops in. You know, I'm actively eating. Oh yeah. I flew first class after my trial. No one wears masks in first class.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Right. Yeah. Well, they got the warm towels.
Exactly. Scented of lemon juice.
So you landed, got there.
Yeah. Grab an Uber.
Okay. So they had rides available.
They did.
And did you hey, take me to the Capitol?
Well, we were staying in Georgetown. We flew in a day before, so we got there on the 5th.
Okay.
And my buddy of mine was on a newsletter, and he found out there was another rally happening the night before. Alex Jones was there.
So you were kind of just seat of the pants.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, exactly. I've never been to D.C.
Yeah.
So I've never actually seen any of the buildings, any monuments.
It's a cool place to go to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history. Just my family refuses to go there when certain people are in office.
That's fair. That's fair. We will take the kids there at some point. I do want them to see everything, and I am allowed to go back.
Okay.
Which is nice.
We'll at the end, in part 2 when we discuss Fallout.
Yeah.
We'll let them know the insane deals that you had to make. It's
lots of concessions.
It's insane.
Lots of concessions.
It really sucks.
We saw Alex Jones that night, and it's actually my first protest I've ever been to.
Yeah, I've never been to one. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I mean,
I'm at work. You're at home.
At home with the kids, exactly. Yeah. So we hear him speak. We start walking around, and there's this group of maybe 20, 30 people. Okay. You know, guy with the bullhorn. They're walking down the street, and they're chanting, whose country, our country.
Right.
You know, stop the steal, back the blue. All the mantras
so you kind of
get
amped up.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we're walking with this group, and we come along a Black Lives Matter protest. Apparently, that's where this group was walking towards.
Okay.
So there's this line of about 20 or 30 cops all lined up, and they're wearing, their jackets. They got bikes behind them. It's like a makeshift barrier. Okay. Don't go talk to them.
So they want the two groups of people not to clash.
Yes.
Okay.
So they're separated into two groups.
Okay.
So I talked to the cops. I'm like, well, hey, how come we can't go over there? And they said, well, they're permitted to be there. It's an event. They scheduled it, and you guys are interrupting with it. I'm like, well, that makes sense. That's fine. They did their due diligence, whatever.
Right.
So I go find someone from BLM. We talk for about 20, 30 minutes, like how long you've been doing this. Is DC always like this? Super nice guy. Come back around, start chatting with some more people. And there's an agitator now behind the police lines that's part of the BLM event. And she is screaming profanities. She's throwing things like...
At the BLM side?
No, from BLM, throwing it into our crowd of people. Just... Okay. Not very nice person.
Right.
The police actually open up and let her through to start agitating people on our side. This is the DC police.
Really?
Not kidding. They let her through to agitate everyone. A couple of people got really offended by that and started walking towards her. They immediately brought her back, and moments later there was a riot that broke out. They started pushing police, tear gas was let loose.
So it just...
So this whole thing was organized by them allowing someone through. And my first thought seeing that is... is that how this is? Is that how these
That was
things
the
work?
day before.
That was the day before.
So you kind of had like a little foreshadowing on
Exactly.
that it's not a fair game out there.
It's not a fair game, or maybe some of it's staged. I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe there are some barking orders that happen behind closed scenes.
The conspiracy theorists that might stumble on this are gonna foam at the mouth.
I know, and look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
I'm not either, but I'm also not blind to how the world really works.
Wait 6 months and see if they report on it. That's typically where I land with those.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's crazy. So you just got out of there?
I just got out of there, and I'm like, wow, that was absolutely insane.
Okay.
So we walk back to the hotel, and I'm like, this is going to be a great trip. I saw something in real life I never thought I would ever see.
Right, that you see on TV all the time.
Exactly. It was
surreal, probably.
You watch news on both sides, you listen to both sides, like how much of it is structured,
edited,
organized,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then you see it in real life, and like, man, none of that should have happened.
Wow.
None of that should have happened.
So January 6th.
Yep.
I remember I was at work, which I won't say where that is, even though they know. And I remember just seeing it must have taken you forever to walk there. Just bodies on thousands of people. Just the whole street was just like, if you look, I don't know if they showed like an aerial view from a helicopter, and it looked like The Walking Dead, just hordes.
Yes.
You could not get anywhere. And I was like, holy crap, what is going on? Because I didn't know what was going on at the time.
It looked like a football stadium emptying out.
It was insane.
Like. You could not tell where the people started and where they stopped.
What was your mission?
Didn't have a sign. I had a camera and a tripod.
You just want to kind of like document it?
I wanted to document. I wanted to see what was going on, take pictures, report back to my
friends.
friends.
You got documented.
Oh, my Lord, yeah. I did.
God.
I did, yeah. So we go to the rally in the morning. And we're hearing everyone speak, you know, and I've heard these speeches before, you know, it's everyone. I've got YouTube. You know?
All right, guys, we're going to go do this.
Exactly. So Trump finishes his speech, and I mentioned this on the Mike Calta show. Interesting point that a lot of people don't know. The Capitol was already being sieged while he was still speaking at the Washington Monument. While we were still down there, he was still giving a speech. It had already gone under siege.
And where were you?
I was at the Washington Monument, a mile and a half away.
You weren't even there.
Wasn't even there.
When the gates fell.
When the gates fell and the police were starting to get pushed back against, I was not even there.
You were a mile and a half away.
Mile and a half away.
Wow.
At the Washington Monument.
So by the time you got there, what was the scene?
By the time I got there, it was again like it looked like a rock concert, you know, and the stage was the Capitol. Just people all around it.
Steps and
exactly. We there was I will say that when I approached the building, there was this kind of wide berth or channel in between people who wanted to get engaged and go see what was going on closer, and those that just wanted to see what happened. So there was
kind of like watching.
There was, and you know, in retrospect, you know, like probably should have listened to my wife and not gone any closer.
Right.
You know, but when you're in that
curiosity,
moment, when you're in that moment and you're seeing history unfold, what are you?
Oh, it was history for sure.
So. You know, and I'd gone there to document it. I'd gone there to look to see what was going on and to say, I don't like what's happening. Right. So I see what's happening with the police, you know, probably 20 yards up.
I'm glad you brought up the police. Well, what was the mindset with the group you were with and the other bodies that were around you? Were they anti-police? Were they like, don't hurt them? Were they like, we're getting in at all costs? What was the...
I think there was definitely a group of people that blame the police for being there and not allowing them to go protest the politicians. Okay. That group of people was such a small minority of the amount of people that were there. Most people there are these meemaws. I mean, they're wearing nice jackets and hats. I mean, they're not there in Kevlar trying to take things over. Most people, like, it looked like a grocery store outside, just a little more cold. That's what the demeanor was.
Interesting.
People weren't overly angry. And that's not to say that people...
Was there yelling and chanting? There's chanting.
It's a protest.
It's a protest.
There's gonna be yelling, signs, chanting.
Right.
You know.
But nobody was like directing that towards the cops that were with you.
No. My group, the people that I were with, we did not approach the protest that way. Right. We were there to protest politicians, not police.
I was watching this at work and I was like, holy crap, I'm watching history unfold. Now, my opinion on the insurrection is probably falls in line with a lot of my subscribers. I didn't, politics aside, Trump aside, him telling people to do certain things, all that aside, for me as a very pro-gun American, it was a triumph to show those in power that they are not untouchable.
Sure.
And the fact that unarmed civilians wearing Sunday's best were able to breach this building and have them cower in their offices with handguns and security. As an American, I was like, wow, this is why they don't want us to have AR-15s, because they know that the Second Amendment protects it.
Sure.
And the Second Amendment is there to keep their power in check.
Yes.
And we checked it with nothing, with no weapons at all. I didn't see any reports of our people storming it with firearms. No. There might have been people who can still carry. I don't think you can still carry in DC. You can't even have like ammunition in a couple. There's a meme I put up back when memes first started of that.
Enrique Tarrio got arrested for 2 magazines, not even a firearm.
Yeah, right. So we took it with no lethal force. So to me, it was a victory because I'm like, are you paying attention, politicians?
Yeah.
Are you paying attention? Leave us alone. So that was like my victory. Sure. I was like chanting. I was like, this is amazing. I didn't want anybody to get hurt. It was more like, show force and leave. Yeah. So that was my take on it. My take on it.
Sure.
So
I don't know if taking the building is a word I would use. Okay. Mostly because, the FBI still follows me and asks me questions. So I don't know if I'd use that word specifically.
Right. Entered the structure.
Yeah. Entered the structure and remained there. Which is the official charge.
Right. I read it, which is a misdemeanor.
It is a misdemeanor.
That you're doing how many days in prison for?
75 days for a misdemeanor trespassing charge.
Prison.
In federal prison.
Not county jail.
Nope, federal
prison for a misdemeanor charge.
Yes.
We'll get back to that at the end.
So
you're looking at a building, you're outside. Groups are kind of doing their own cliques. You're more of a calm clique.
Yes.
And go.
Well, the idea is we're allowed to protest.
Sure.
We are allowed to enter a building. We are allowed. It's a public building first.
Yeah, and it was during viewing or tour hours, right?
This is what I read. But I read it on the internet, so.
Right, but that's kind of what I didn't get it. Like I get barring the doors or whatever if you see like a horde crowd coming, but. Sure. Were the doors locked? Were they open? Well, by the time you got there, it was already.
The doors that I had passed through were wide open. With no police around them.
Were they? Did you notice if they were damaged at all?
I did not see any damage done. The doors were just wide open.
Just doors, like propped open.
Yep, 2 doors just swung right open.
Like on little magnet lock things or something.
Just swung right open.
No chairs to the window or anything.
Nothing like that.
Just open.
Nope.
You're just
completely open. Well, it's my first protest and my
and your last.
My last. Yeah. Ask my wife about that. Yeah. So it's my first protest. I lack all the etiquette to understand where I'm allowed to go and not go, right? First and foremost. But if I see a protest and I'm part of moving inside, I'm going to move inside with the protest.
Right,
that's the natural conclusion of where the protest was going.
This is where we're going, guys.
Yeah. Right. We're going inside. Okay, well, that's where the protest is now. Okay.
So now I'm in. Let's paint the picture. So you're inside.
We enter through a very small corridor. It's sardines in a can. It's very tight.
So you're like
shoulder to shoulder with 50, 60 people. Okay. And we must have been some of the first people inside because as we entered into the rotunda,
after it was breached.
Yes. Well, so there's a west face breaching and there is a east face breaching.
Okay. I haven't looked at the 3D models on the History Channel yet. So.
Well, that's why I also say they should just release the video. I don't understand why they don't release the video
of security camera footage.
Yes.
Of you.
Everything. I have nothing to hide. Release all of it. Right. You're going to see a guy walking around taking pictures and leaving.
Can you do a Freedom of Information Act request?
It's still an open case, so I don't really leave them all out once it's all closed. But that's going to be
decades
when we're all underwater. Yeah.
They'll just see you just walk in.
Exactly.
Look at this! Look at this terrorist. So you're in a corridor with 60 people.
Yep. So we're kind of going down the small corridor, and it opens up into the rotunda. And the rotunda is absolutely gorgeous. Right. And as soon as we get there, we don't see police officers anywhere still. So we've been in the building now for probably 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay.
We still don't
Nobody told you to leave.
No one's asked us to leave. Actually,
you're in sightseeing
no one ever
mode
asked
now.
me to leave. Ever in that building. No one even asked me to leave.
So how could you get trespassed if you weren't told to leave and then denied it?
we can cover that in a little bit.
Oh boy.
Charges, litigation, all that stuff. So we open up to the rotunda, and it's just breathtaking. It's all inspiring. It's everything.
First time in DC, you're like,
exactly. And I have such tremendous respect for this country, and I'm still kind of an institutionalist. I don't think we should burn them all down. I think the basic tenets of a lot of them are good. Not the ATF, and then so we're there, we're taking pictures. Most people they're on their phones. They're not doing much. And I'm not with anyone at this point. I didn't really go in the building with anyone, so I'm by myself.
Right.
So I take kind of a self-guided tour. So do we mention our glasses got full?
Yeah, look at that.
They got full again.
Amazing editing.
It's magic. So I'm taking a self-guided tour to the Capitol. I've never been, and there's no maps or anything on anywhere, so I'm just kind of getting lost through the whole process.
Okay.
I noticed that the corridor for the Speaker of the House, Miss Pelosi herself, was one of the hallways.
I call her something else, but continue.
Lots of people do. Lots of people do. So I find this long corridor. Again, everything's long corridors in that building. So I'm walking down through, and I go to her office door, and this is one of the things that's highly...
Yeah, this is the good stuff. He hasn't told me any of this.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to know what happened and how you saw it. So yeah, continue. This is amazing.
It's highly contested about the door that I touched. Okay. From the prosecution. The words they used are jiggle the door handle. It was more of a boop, just to say I touched her door. And that was one of the leading factors in me getting sentenced for a longer time, because why would you touch a door if you don't want to go inside? And it's kind of like, I don't know, touch a Tom Brady jersey or something.
Right.
I touched a Tom Brady jersey or something silly.
So you did or didn't go inside?
I did not go inside.
Okay.
I merely touched her doorknob. But this was one of the leading factors that the prosecution said the reason why I needed to have more time served. Because
you touched a doorknob.
Because I touched a doorknob.
Can we just pause for a second?
Sure.
And just kind of outline, as a whole, just human race in general, how stupid this is.
It's
world hunger and oil crisis and the politics, war going on right now. They're like, did you touch that fucking doorknob?
Did you touch that doorknob? Yeah, it was a deep question they had.
God, I can picture pictures of doorknobs and a finger on it.
I know.
And just
the silliest thing about this too is the implication that if I had gone inside and she was there, what I might have done,
You'd have been like, hi.
Ooh, it would have been hey, are you okay? You're 89 years old.
Right.
Do you need help getting out of here?
Right.
Right. I don't know how much you had today. Can you walk?
Right. Exactly. So where was the lectern at?
So the lectern. So I finished with Pelosi's office. I booped her door handle.
Right.
I leave my way out of
there.
there.
So your mindset's I should probably not.
I didn't enter a single door that was closed.
Okay.
Not a single door that was closed, because I know better.
There's security footage of all this.
I cannot say yes or no to that. I had to sign a thing saying I cannot discuss any video that I have seen or not seen.
Right, because I'm guessing if they release security footage, it might implicate other people that shouldn't want or don't want to be implicated. Probably.
So what I tell people to kind of satisfy both sides is whatever you think is on those tapes you haven't seen, it's on those tapes you haven't seen.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's just where I have to leave it at.
Right. Right.
So
so you don't go in.
Don't go in. Yep. Continue walking around.
Okay.
Find a couple of other empty corridors.
Self-guided tour.
Self-guided tour.
Yeah.
And I come downstairs and I see this sign. This is one of the other pictures they shared. It says "Closed to all tours."
Yeah.
Just something you kind of stand. It's a great photo.
I'll go and throw it up there.
It's a great photo. And I took a picture with it and just with the caption word "No." Right. Almost as a joke.
Sure.
Where it's like
any of us would do.
Yeah. It's just a joke.
Right.
So
now what's going on around you right now? Why are you doing this? There's just people walking around? Or?
There's literally nothing going on. People are just taking
30, 40,
pictures.
50, 60 people?
60, 70 people.
They're just walking around taking pictures?
Yeah. It's getting a little more full this time.
Kind of, they're packing in?
People were coming in waves, is what it felt like, right? It wasn't a steady flow of traffic.
Any violence you saw?
I've not seen any violence at this point.
Doors breaking, glass breaking?
Not a single door broken.
Vandalism?
Nothing.
They're just walking around.
They're just walking around.
Okay, so now we have...
Sorry, I misspoke. There was one man who threw a stack of papers in the air.
Oh my God, did somebody die?
He did. A lot of paper cuts that day. Yeah. They don't report that. That was the...
So this is before it does get rowdy later. That
Yes,
one poor lady got shot in the neck.
Yes.
That was horrible.
Yes.
So did the photo, did the selfie with the sign.
Yep. And
self-guided tour.
I find, and I'm thinking, I should take some pictures while I'm here. I probably am not coming back again. You know, I probably take this very, very personally. So I find the lectern. It's sitting just out in the open under a stairwell, not in a room, not behind doors, just kind of sitting
like storage,
like a prop,
because that's what it is.
Because it is a prop.
Right.
It is a prop. So I see this thing and I don't read the seal on the front of it. Full disclosure.
No shit.
I didn't even know it was hers.
Damn.
And a lot of people want to I can't take credit for it. I didn't know it was hers, you know, and that's the people should know. You know?
Right. The truth is out.
The truth is out.
I didn't know that till just now.
Exactly.
I thought you saw that sucker and was like, oh, I know what to do with this. You just saw it as a prop.
I saw it as a prop. Okay. You know, I'm thinking, I'm here in the Capitol building. What a great prop for a picture.
Right.
So I carry this thing probably 20, 25 yards, not very far.
Right.
It was like from one vestibule back out into the rotunda.
Because you wanted a good backdrop.
I wanted a great backdrop, you know.
I'm a photographer, so I'm like, why
it's
would you
all
do
about the background,
lighting,
you know.
sure.
Yep. You make a focal point, you know, and I made mine.
You can't do it underneath the staircase.
No.
Right.
So I carry this thing out. There were actually two guys that actually tried to stop me on the way out. What are you doing? Don't touch that, man. Civilians, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like
if
they're
you
very
only knew.
they're very respectful.
If you only knew.
I've been told I don't take good advice. Yeah. So they're trying to stop me and they're saying, you can't touch that. I'm like, it's just for a picture, guys.
Right.
It's going to be fine.
I'm not stealing it.
Exactly. It's going to be fine. It's very, very wrong.
Not fine.
Not fine. So I take the lectern out to the middle of the room and I set it up. You know, the photographer there taking pictures. I smile and I wave because I'm a nice person.
Sure.
Someone takes a picture, you smile.
We all know that photo. And cue photo.
It's a great photo. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, my Lord. Yeah. So I don't even know they're professional photographers at this point. I just think they're people with nice cameras. I don't realize it's the news. You know? Yep. So I thought nothing of it.
Yeah, so they weren't wearing like badges.
Didn't see lanyards.
No lanyards.
Nope. Nothing like that.
So you're like, what's up, dude?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. You having a good time? Enjoying yourself? Yeah.
Not even. Oh.
Yep. So I put the lectern down and I give a short speech.
You put it down right there. Oh, like a fake speech?
It wasn't fake. It was a very real speech and I stand by everything I said.
I wish somebody recorded that.
Yeah, they won't release that one.
I bet not.
Yeah, that's a great speech. I said, what did I say? I said, we need some new rules. First of all, no more treason, which I thought was a great place to start. Yep. No more traitors, because they're separate things. Mm-hmm. And then the third thing was we're going to vote on one budget item at a time. Which
instead of grouping them.
Exactly.
Right.
Instead of having these riders along with bills. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Which I thought would solve most of our problems.
Well, yeah, but then how would these crooked Congress get money?
Well, they can still do insider trading. That's fine.
Okay, they can do that.
Yeah, as long as I can too.
But it was always confused me when they make like $250,000 a year, but all of a sudden they're worth $80 million. I'm like, damn, they are either really good at investing.
I know.
And all their friends give them kickbacks, or they're just really lucky.
And this is another big reason why I showed up in the first place. Mm-hmm. Is you look at what's going on. Like, you can't make money. You can't make money, but they can make all the money they want.
Yep. And
it's very frustrating.
You're talking about retail investors.
Yes.
Yeah. They hate that the worker bees can get a piece of the action because we need to stay under the thumb.
Yep.
Yeah.
And again, being a libertarian, that's going to offend some people. I don't care what you cut off, what you put in your mouth. It's not going in mine. You know, I don't care. It doesn't bother me one bit. It doesn't. But I'm tired of paying so much taxes and having so little benefit for it.
Right. Exactly.
You know, it's and that's a big. Another long conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I digress. Scotch. So I give this speech.
You give the speech.
I give this speech. I think it's a great speech.
What's your audience? How many people?
Probably about 100, 150
Holy
people
shit, yeah.
at this point. And
you're using your pastor voice. You used to be a pastor. So.
I did used to be
using
a
your
inflection.
Pastor.
Exactly. I took an offering afterwards.
Damn, I can't believe nobody recorded that. Fuck.
It's probably somewhere.
It's got some dude's phone.
Some dude's got it somewhere. Yeah. If you have it, by the way, please send it to me. I'm cataloging all of this. Mm-hmm. It's going in the book.
Yep.
So, so I set it down. I give my speech, and at this point, I'm getting kind of bored because I've been there about 15 minutes, and
15 minutes.
Been about 15 minutes, you know, and I've seen kind of what I want to see, and there's nothing really going on. Mm-hmm. And there is this secondary group wave of people that are now kind of pushing through that look like they know where they want to be. They know where they want to go.
So you're like, oh, is there another checkpoint?
Exactly. Again, I've not been there before.
Right. Let me pull up my brochure here. We're at checkpoint number 2 for the insurrection.
So I start following this group of people down a hallway, and it kind of comes to a stop, and I'm probably 6-7 rows back from the front.
Okay.
I'm on my phone texting my friends like, yeah, I'm still inside, and the wife's getting pissed. Get out. And I'm like, all right, fine. Yeah, she's a good woman.
Yeah. So is mine. Yeah, they're usually smarter than us.
Oh, every day of the week.
It's an Adam thing.
Yeah, it's an Adam thing. Yeah. Hey, they chose us, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in this hallway, and I can't see what's going on up front, and eventually the crowd just starts pushing forward. Almost like imagine like a Black Friday. Outside of Best Buy, the doors finally open.
Right.
It's that type of push. I'm getting pushed from behind. My hands are up because I don't want to trample anyone. I don't want to be trampled. And we end up down towards the doors where Congress is meeting.
Oh wow!
So we're right down there towards the end, and at this point, I'm kind of in it, you know.
Yeah.
And I have a moment where like maybe I should leave, but I'm right here.
Is there anybody there that says you should be there?
Not yet.
Okay. So at this point, there's no official suit with a lanyard or a police officer.
Nope.
In sight.
The first person that told me that I should leave was CNN.
No kidding.
Back when I got at the hotel, that was the first person that said you shouldn't have gone.
So during this whole time, nobody told you to leave.
No,
and you still got charged with basically trespassing.
Yes,
but from what I understand about trespassing, you can't get trespassed unless somebody tells you to leave a business or a building, and you deny them that. Law enforcement is called. They collect your information. They trespass you. If you come back, you can go to jail.
Yeah,
that's how I understand trespassing. So that never happened.
Federal law is very interesting. The way it is written is either you did something one way or you did it a second way or a tertiary way. Either way, you did something illegal. That's the way federal law is written.
So they just...
Yes. They ring it out until they find... Exactly.
Wow.
So we can talk about the terms of my charges.
That'll be part 2.
Later on. So
this
fascinating.
This is already getting long.
Sorry.
No, it's good.
Yeah, no one ever listens to me.
You need
I need a place to vent.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're down by the doors, and the first cops I saw at the very front, and there's this little tiny vestibule, a couple of busts left and right, George Washington and someone else. And you hear from the front of the crowd, let them out, let them out.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what's going on. Talking to the guy next to me, and I'm like, what's going on? He's like, well, that's where they're meeting. And I'm like, are they still here?
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I think they're still inside. I'm like, what are they still doing?
They're holed up in
It's been like an hour and a half. How are they not gone?
Right.
Like, what are they still doing here? And I was actually kind of shocked they were still there, because, again, I don't think that causing harm to people is ever the right solution. I think getting them removed from office is a better solution.
Sure.
I do. And then you can charge them for their crimes against humanity.
Right. Sure. No, agreed.
So, we're there, and I kind of at that point think like, man, maybe I should go because those people are not going to like this at all.
Yeah, this is getting kind of dicey.
Right. And as I'm considering all of that, the crowd opens up and 2 cops come out. And it's the first 2 cops that I've seen the entire time.
And what'd they do?
And apparently they were getting kind of crushed up against the doors.
The cops?
The cops were. And this was the first time inside I saw like, man, that's not
cool.
great.
Right.
That's not cool.
Right. And were other people kind of like, what were they like? What the hell are you guys doing?
Well, I mean, they didn't look...
concerned?
They didn't look injured.
The cops, yeah.
They didn't. They didn't look injured, but they definitely looked defeated. We had to leave our post, and that's got to be a bad feeling as well.
Sure.
Because you're given a duty to do, you want to do it, see it through. We can talk about whether they were doing the right thing or not. That's a whole separate conversation. But they did let them out.
Right.
Right. So we're talking about the temperament of the people who were there that day. It's back and forth.
Right.
I can tell you there are some things I really didn't like, and I can tell you there are some things I really did like.
Right.
They let the police officers out. They did not continue to crush them.
Right.
And try to injure them.
Right.
At all.
Right.
So it's kind of one of those. None of it was good in that moment, but it was the best thing was done they could have done.
Gotcha.
After it had been done.
And this is the first altercation you saw the whole time.
Yes. So
you were done with the podium thing.
Done with the podium.
You're kind of like making your way out, or just more investigating.
Just more investigating, right?
Gotcha.
Like imagine being in the Capitol building is so large, you know, and
I've been there, yeah.
I get this all the time where it's like, you know, you should have known what was going on, you should have left. And I said, well,
you weren't watching TV.
Exactly. I was like, well, it's a very big building, and I'm not a very big person.
Right.
So for me to understand everything that's going on at the same time all around me with a bird's eye periphery view, like I can't, no possible way. Like I'm sure that you've been to a bar at some point where maybe someone was being assaulted and you had no idea.
Yeah.
Are you also responsible for that assault?
That's a good example.
So they let the cops out, and at this point they're banging on the doors with their fists, right? And,
who, the cops?
No, the other people. They're banging on the door, kind of like Kavanaugh trial. Right, where they get to the door and there's some type of federal process going on. I would call a peaceful transfer of power, putting another SCOTUS in.
Right.
You know, just like putting another president in.
Right.
It's a peaceful transfer of power, and they're banging on the doors.
Who's banging?
The protesters.
Okay.
The protesters are banging. Let us in. Let us in. From the front, we can hear guys say, "Once we get in, we're going to go in and sit down, and we're going to be silent. But we're going to vote no. We're going to contest the election."
No shit.
No shit. That is what they're saying from the front. You know? And this is the guy on a megaphone saying these things. This is what's going on at the front of these doors.
Trying to lead the...
You know? So you have this dual narrative where, like, were they violent? There was violence there. What were they actually trying to accomplish, though? I think we lose that narrative in all of the mess that happened throughout the
that's what they want, misdirection.
Yes. Mm-hmm. The retelling of this has just kind of left us confused, and we're missing points.
Yeah, no.
So, in this moment, people are chanting out. I got to address one other thing the prosecution put on me. I had made a comment that Washington bus would make a great battering ram.
The bust?
Yes. Now, I have to address this because it gets brought up everywhere I do, and I got accused the last interview I do of not bringing up, evading the question.
Right.
And
we just forgot to mention it.
We've been talking for so long already. Yeah, it's just going to be edited down so much.
I don't know. I'm not, I'm going to try to leave as much in as I can. I won't do many hard cuts.
Sure.
Just to like give them the full spiel. If they want to watch it, they can watch it. If not, they can go watch one of my other videos.
Okay.
But that's why we need to break this up into two parts.
For sure. So I make this comment that Washington bust would make a great battering ram. Mm-hmm. And what the prosecution and what most of the narrative is saying is that it is a command statement. It's not a command statement. It is a suggestive statement.
Sure.
Right? Because you have to understand, there's 30 people around me all saying things like, you should use this, you should use that, you should use this, you should use that. I'm talking to a person directly next to me.
Not in the crowd.
Nope.
Right.
Talking to a person directly next to me. And I'm saying, I don't understand what they're doing, but if they were actually trying to get in there, that's the apparatus to get inside of there.
Sure.
So are they actually trying to get in or just trying to be loud and belligerent?
Right.
You know? It was not a command statement. It was a, what are you guys doing?
Right.
You're either stupid or don't really want to accomplish your objective.
Right.
Whatever that may be.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I definitely want to clear the air on that.
Sure. Yeah.
That this comment is not some aggressive statement that I made.
Right.
I wish they would release the video of it because you'd hear...
I'm sure one day.
You'd hear me saying it literally to the person next to me.
Right.
That thing would be this, you know?
Oh, I'm sure the microphones and cameras in there are state of the art. So.
Oh, positive. Oh, yeah. Positive. So I make this comment, and also no one uses this damn thing. It stays up there. No one touches it because no one can hear me saying this because I'm not projecting it in such a way to where I want it to be done.
So it's a moot point.
It's a moot point.
Yeah.
But the prosecution uses it to say...
Of course they do, because they're grasping at straws.
I'm a violent insurrectionist,
Yeah, you've been pretty violent the whole time we've been here.
The whole time.
You brought your whole arsenal here, and I was pretty scared.
I'm killing this drink. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm still at the doors, and someone had a fire extinguisher and just started hosing all of us down to get us to kind of disperse and break up.
Really?
Because
was it a cop?
I don't think it was a cop. I think the idea was they weren't getting through those doors, so they wanted to back out, regroup, and find an alternative route.
Okay.
So I think they used the fire extinguisher to disperse us to create room to backpedal to go somewhere else. It did work.
No
so,
shit.
I mean, have you ever had fire? Well, I mean, yeah. This was very, very...
Dry chemicals, not something you want to breathe in.
No. Very, very thick. And, some people...
Coarse throat,
Yeah, so I'm coughing in the hallways, and I'm realizing I've got no desire to be
You're
here anymore. That's enough.
Tour's over. Now you're out, or you're leaving.
Well, I couldn't leave. I didn't know where I was.
You were lost.
You could not leave the same way you came in because people were still coming into those doors.
Right, like cattle.
Yeah, so I talked to one of the cops that had been let out, and I asked him, "Hey, how do I get out of here?"
You're asking a cop how to get out.
Yeah. How do I leave? I'm lost, you know.
Right.
I don't have my bearings straight.
Right.
And he's very, very polite, very friendly. It's like, oh, it's not a problem. You're gonna want to go down the hallway, take a right.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Take a right. We're
He's
exiting
just like
people.
nonchalant
giving me orders. And the fact of the matter is, they had a location they were exiting people, and I'm assuming that's
so they had a plan developed during this. All right, let's get them out this way.
Yeah, whether it was during this or it's a plan they've had in place, contingencies.
Which probably have.
Who knows? But
you're kidding me.
Yeah, I asked him for directions to leave, and he was super polite. Gave me directions to leave.
Like to dinner. Oh yeah, go down here. They have great fries.
Exactly. And the whole thing, and again, so the whole time I'm in there, I don't really think that what I'm doing is so overtly wrong,
right?
That I'm gonna be arrested.
Your guard's down.
Yeah, and I talked to my wife afterwards about this. This was on the walk home.
Well, yeah. Before you get there, so you were there for how long? 20 minutes?
I think they said I was there for 26 minutes.
26 minutes.
Yeah, under half an hour.
So the cop tells you directions. You get out. Now what? You call your wife and you walk home.
My phone was dead. So
dead.
Phone died inside. Took a lot of video that day.
So now you probably can't get an Uber at this point.
No, streets are locked down. The National Guard was finally closer
to
the building.
Peace.
Exactly. Yeah, I had made a joke to my buddy on the way up there.
Speaking of that, were your buddies with you the whole time?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you kind of got separated. And you're like, I'm
a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people. I'm like, hey, I'll see you back at the room. You know?
Okay, we'll reconvene.
Exactly.
Okay. So now you're out of the building.
Now I'm out of the building. My phone's dead. I got charging in my backpack with the battery pack.
What was that like? Like, you go down steps, you go outside. There's like mayhem outside. What was that like?
When I came back out from the fire extinguisher, it was a completely different vibe
than what started.
Yeah, the building had been desecrated. It's a really strong word, but if you love the country like I do, like
I love this country. Yeah,
you don't
condone burning the flag.
You don't smoke blunts in the Capitol.
Oh,
you know what I mean? You don't smoke blunts in the Capitol.
Right.
You don't put flags over statues, and you
desecrate it. Yeah.
You don't do that. You know, that's not something you should ever do. Don't.
So you're like, wow, this escalated quickly.
Exactly.
Insert meme here.
Exactly.
Still had no idea you were all over the
killed
news.
a woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
like you said at the concert, or like you're at a bar, you don't realize that she on this building. I don't think many people realize how large this building is. You can somebody can shoot a gun in one wing, you won't even hear it.
No. My wife was the timing of all of this. I must have been within 5-10 feet of Ashli Babbitt.
Wow.
And we count our blessings every single day.
Yeah.
That I decided to leave at that point, not the next, because that same group I was in was the group that went down the corridor and where she was shot.
Damn. Wow.
So these people aren't horrible people. They are the vanguard. They are, the front lines. They are banging on the doors. They're the first ones there, but they are unarmed. Right. They are unarmed.
Like I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
We gain access via nonviolence.
Yeah. And how threatening is someone knocking on a door? Do you know what I mean?
Let me in.
That you would
now.
Exactly. That you would think you would need to shoot someone for it.
Right.
And
right.
I guess of all the things people tell me all the time, it's like, well, it was people died that day. I'm like, you're absolutely right. People died that day. They didn't have to, and they weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
Because it was a protest.
Right.
It was a protest, and not all protests end like that. I can recall a handful.
I can recall a lot of burning cars, sneaker stores, looting, blocking traffic.
Yep.
I never saw anybody go to prison over it.
Yep, and I won't mention the name of those groups. It's become Voldemort. You don't speak it, otherwise you get canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Or they come after your family.
Right.
But I think the death toll is up to 37.
Going after my family would be pretty much the wrong thing to do. So.
I don't have the luxury right now.
Not right now. Yeah. We'll get into that. We'll get into that stage.
But 37 people is the death total now for the Summer of Love. 37 people. 37 people, and they don't call them deadly riots. They don't.
Wow.
They don't. And that's
Summer of Love.
Summer of Love.
All those burning stores.
37 deaths, $2 billion worth of damage. 2.2 billion now is the next number, but it
what
doesn't
was the
actually.
Damage on the Capitol?
That's
a flag over a bust and some broken glass.
Well, they'll say it's somewhere in the north of like $150 million, but it's because they paid the National Guard to stay there later, erected the fence,
sleep outside.
All of that was part of the damages that were done. But if you line item, separate what the security was versus the actual damage was done, we're talking under $100,000.
Right.
Under $100,000. They probably had to reseed some grass. So I leave.
You leave.
So I leave.
You leave. You're gone.
I leave. It's a
in the nick of time.
Yep.
You thought.
I thought.
Yeah.
So phone's charging in my backpack.
Ready to blow up.
Ready to blow up. Yeah. I get about 15% power back on, and there's 100 messages. Friend requests.
God.
People calling me. Oh, it's insane. I have no idea what's going on.
Hey, oh, that's weird.
Because I thought, my group thread will probably have a dozen messages. Like, did you leave yet? My wife, brother,
you're just
whatever.
Getting inundated.
Yes. So much to the point I could not use my phone because it was going off so much. I could not call people or message people.
No way.
I had to put it on airplane.
So they already had your name at that point?
I was doxxed within 2 hours.
Wow.
Yes.
You didn't even make it back to the hotel, did you?
No. Within 2 hours, I had been doxxed.
Dude.
People had linked my name, my number, my address.
So you walk back.
Uh-huh.
Were there TVs on in the hotel bar, and did you see yourself on it?
No. So
that would have been crazy.
So when I put on airplane mode, I was able to go through some of my voicemails, some of the messages.
Kind of catch up.
And it became very apparent this was not going to be a thing that I wake up tomorrow and it's going to be fine. It'll blow over and it's going to be fine.
People were giving you threats already?
Already.
You were walking down the street.
Just walking down the
street. And getting threats.
Yes.
Holy shit.
There was the first time I realized it wasn't going to be okay. I'm in DC, not from DC, and this young couple on bikes riding by are like, "Oh my God, is that the guy?" And this was within 45 minutes of being in the building. Within 45 minutes of exiting that building, someone had recognized me on the street. So it was that quick. It was that quick.
That is some fallout.
That is a lot of fallout. Absolutely.
Speaking of fallout, we need to wrap this video up because it's probably an hour long already. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it so far. We are going to re-up here and we're going to release a part 2. We've covered everything leading up to.
Yes.
We've covered the insurrection.
Mm-hmm.
Let's dive deep into what happened when you left and the fallout.
Absolutely, we can do that.
Next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Going pretty good.
Well, it's chatty.
Yeah.